Oh, oh. Okay. Here we go. Yes, yes, yes. You are listening to Keeping in Touch with My People here on WSTX AM 970. You already know this is Elizabeth Hansen Watley, your host. And the numbers here are 340-773-0390, 340-773-0490. If you want to catch us live, check us out on StreamYard.com. Look for WSTX AM 970. And of course, here on Facebook, check out Elizabeth Hansen Watley on your Facebook pages. Oh, it's a beautiful day out here in the big island of St. Croix. We have much to discuss. And of course, by now you should know that I have a very, very special guest that will be coming in shortly in the name of our Congresswoman, Stacy Plaskett. And she's coming here to share some great news, keep us informed, and let us know what's going on with her. So this is going to be a nice time to, get yourself up to date on some topics. But of course, we want to start here by extending condolences to all families who are experiencing the loss of a loved one. We want to make sure that you know that you're not alone, that we're always here as a community for you. And God would always keep you covered when you are going through all of what you're going through. Just remember that. The next thing is, of course, we have birthdays. There's a very special birthday. Sadia Ali is celebrating her birthday today. A very beautiful person. And we worked at the Department of Health together. And I just want to send her much birthday blessings as she celebrates her journey of life. And all I can say is stay beautiful, girl. She is gorgeous, right? um there are so many things to discuss. Of course, we want to do our birthday celebrations and so forth, but I am excited. This week has been filled with all kinds of things happening. We've had ships coming in, we've had all kinds of things in the news. Good morning to you guys that are logging on the live. Hi, good morning. Buenos dias. I see my cousin from Puerto Rico on. Hi, Mikey. Uh, Christine Jackson, good day. Esteban, hi. Michael, Michelle. Hello to you guys. I'll try my best to hail you up as you come on. I want to see those hearts and those thumbs up. But yes, there is so much to discuss, so much going on in the news. And the election seems to be heating up. I would have said behind the scenes, but it seems like a lot of things are spilling out into the public, and I'm here for it, honey. Y'all know that my favorite time of the year is either, and I have to add it, Easter. I love Easter as well, but definitely festival time and election time. Those are my two big ones. And this time, you guys know that I'll be intricately involved on a different level as I'm putting myself out there as a candidate. But I am just happy that I feel like the community is wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, paying attention, making sure that you guys do your research. I am so elated that you all are paying attention. I'm getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of inquiries. I welcome it. Like I tell you all, I am a straight shooter. I say what I know. If I don't know, I can tell you I don't know. I'll check it out. But I am just happy that you all are paying attention, because there is a whole lot of things going on. 15 bills were sent to the governor's desk from the legislature. 15. And boy, I start to read down some stuff, and I'm telling you, this thing went into the night, and boy, keep your eyes open. because there's some amendments to the hotel development bill again, right? Um, there's a lot of changes that are happening, and we have to pay attention to what's going on. You know, we encourage development here in our homeland, but we have to do smart development. We have to make sure that we're protecting our home as our first priority because it's something that we have to pass on. And so we have to take good care of, of what we have, right? We know of many destinations that used to have great access to beautiful things, and now they're no longer. And we don't want to become one of those locations. Um, I am going through and looking at all of these different bills, and I'm going to give you all my assessment on some of the actions that were taken once I fully get through everything, because I ain't gonna come to you and try to mamaga you and act like I know and all of this back and forth. No, no, no. We don't do that over here on Keeping in Touch. We stick to the facts. You know, but I did see where um we have a legislator that thought it was a good idea to uh even further reduce the tax um, investment into the territory. And I'm thinking, unless I'm misinterpreting what I'm reading, I thought the whole point of development was for us to um, make sure that we create revenues for the territory. And why I say that, yes, it makes sense to have incentives because we're not in this world by ourselves, and in this region, it's very competitive to get businesses to come in. Although, hey, we're America's paradise, so we have a leg up in the game. The thing is, I don't want you to give away the baby with the bathwater. What do I mean? We could incentivize. We have great EDC benefits, and I think we have the best benefits that exist under this great flag, if you think about it, for EDC benefits. As incentives, I think it's enough, right? Unless there is a situation where we look at the smaller businesses, those that are really feeling the crunch, they're just under being able to qualify for EDC benefits. They don't qualify. They don't have the type of size of staff or the hours, and so they're the one feeling the pinch, right? Um, let me. I don't want to have you all waiting too long, so I'll go ahead and take these calls quickly. Greetings, you're on Keeping in Touch.
Yeah, morning. Is the Facebook page up? Because I'm not getting up on Facebook.
Yes, it is up.
It's up?
It's up. It's live.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're up live on Facebook. Um, we need to be smart in a way where we can still gain some sort of revenues from these initiatives, because what's the point of having the individuals bringing these businesses um, and not invest in the territory in a way that's tangible. Now, I know y'all keep saying jobs, 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 but if they're not being paid to a level that would compensate for the amount of taxes that you're not collecting from the businesses, it is kind of frivolous, right? So we just have to make sure that if we're moving in that direction, we have to be smart about it. We can't give away everything. I mean, after all, this is America's paradise. There are benefits to just exist in this space. You're in the Caribbean, you get the benefits of having the protections of the United States. You get all of the other goodies that come with the United States protection and cover. So we have to think about that and not give away every single thing just to say we put up this new thing or we put up that new thing. So that's my only spew with that. As far as what's going on down in Frederickstead with um the distillery and concerns about our environment, I'm gonna keep it straight and clear with you. If it is that we are allowing for some sort of toxic situation to be occurring in our lands just because we want to accommodate, that's a problem. I know this has been an ongoing fight. I have not been able to personally get into all the intricate details, but those of you at the Song of My Voice that may have the information, please feel free to share it to our page. I would like to read and see the photo. I know I saw through the hearing some photos that were taken. There seems to be some conflict of what the facts are because we had people come and testify, and both sides were saying opposite things. But then, the people in the community seem to have some documentation, tangible documentation to support what they're saying. And so my thing is, let's find out what's really happening. Let's make it clear and address the issue. We were not anti-business, we're not anti-development, and you should not have that approach or response just because someone is concerned about their island. Aren't we supposed to care? And this is just in general. We should care when we don't have access to the beaches. We should care if the place is not clean. We should care about things like that. How do we collectively address the problem? But this thing about as soon as somebody brings something to your attention, that means they're anti everything. No, and it's unfair to do that because you need the same community to come out and support, to help. I keep telling everybody the government is the same people at the Virgin Islands. We shouldn't be back and forth and arguing about the basics, arguing about what should be morally right about anything. That isn't the part we should be bickering about. We could agree to disagree on certain things, but there are certain things that we can't just keep moving, you know, the posts about. You know, there's much work to be done, just like any other destination. And I travel all over the world and Elizabeth Diamond. So don't get me in the bacchanal. But my point is, every destination has issues. The thing is how we address them. And at this stage, I am not worried about um, the back and forth and the egos and who get credit for this and that. That should be beneath us at this point. At this point, it should be, let's address the problem and make sure that everybody can prosper. Period. You should not live in paradise and be suffering and everybody else enjoying paradise. That's not how it's supposed to work. So we have to pay attention. And I'm going to tell you, I'm trying my best to be on my best behavior today, but passing that tower by Kennedy every day, it is a problem. And I was trying to keep it nice and cute and not have to really get aggressive. But aggression is necessary sometimes. And that's why, some of you meet me up to last night. I went out there. I had a good old time mingling with some individuals. And I'm going to say this. Some of you may have seen me in the public and then you think I'm soft spoken, which I am most of the times because anybody that knows me knows. I like to listen to what you're saying before I could have a conversation with you. Let me see what you have to say. Explain to me what you're thinking, and we could go that road. But this thing about just speaking because I like the sound of my voice, I ain't into that. But when necessary, please understand that the humble, quiet listener can become the one that you can hear from the back street. And sometimes it's necessary because some people can only understand that type of response or that sort of approach. And I understand that. I like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But if you come and you're cantankerous I could get cantankerous too. It ain't nothing but a thing. I born and raised here. I promise you, I have learned to be cantankerous when necessary. I just don't exude that type of energy 24/7. So, I was happy to meet some individuals that have only seen me in certain spaces and have a real conversation, and they get to know a little bit more about the fact that I can dance and tiptoe and square dance with the best of them. I could be in the room with the presidents. I could be in the room with anybody. Go out on the bay and kick it with them too. It ain't nothing but a thing, because one thing, and I appreciate my parents for this. They never shunned us from going anywhere. We went down any place, anytime. We walking through day or night, rain or shine, right? This is home. This is my people. I know there are some of you out there that are afraid to go in this neighborhood and that neighborhood. No, that's not me. I am from Christiansted. I raised up in Hamburg. I know West too, because my parents had me all over, and I used to play softball. I play volleyball. I play steel pan. uh, Anything, soccer, you name it. I was out there doing my thing. So you ain't no part of sync where you could tell me I can't go. And this mentality about us, because you come from this side or you come from that side, you got to fight. Meanwhile, everybody's suffering. It ain't making sense. We have to come to a point where we understand the whole point is to make sure we can prosper. We are um island full of immense talent, right? I'm speaking specifically to where I am living. Now, we know the entire territory is full of talent, but this thing about this east, west, north, south thing, and then you St. Croix against St. Thomas and St. John, and St. Thomas and St. John against and Water Island on their own side. And listen, all of us can pay them high gas prices. All of us have to buy the food. All of us have to drive these roads. Unless I have a helicopter, okay. Well, tell me where it is, right? Because right now my little car can't make it. All right. I I I don't have no car for nobody else. I got my own car and I buy my own gas and I go to my job every day with my own thing. So I drive in these roads and I see them. I going to the same grocery stores you going to, and I see the prices. I remember when um I was in the legislature working, and we had to do the research about when they came up with these sin taxes, and again legislation. We're gonna tax cigarette, we're gonna tax this, and we're gonna tax uh all of these um sin items. And I remember Senator Hansen saying, listen, if anybody have any common sense as a business owner, and you bring up the prices on these items that a lot of people may not purchase regularly, all they're gonna do is shift the cost to your milk, your bread, your cheese, your basic items that you have in your household, your water. Oh no, 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 that ain't gonna happen. It gonna just be the cigarette and it gonna be the this and that. What happened? Into turn around, everything else went up. So we have to really pay attention when we write legislation. We have to pay attention, and we ain't inventing anything new around here. There are other areas that had syntaxes, and we did the research. The senator aggressively had us research in different destinations on the mainland what syntax caused. And what happened was a lot of people decided that they weren't going to shop at those locations that implemented those taxes. We on an island. We ain't got a place to drive to go to get anything cheaper. But that's what they were doing when they implemented it in their district. They would drive to other locations to shop or order from different locations. We have to not think that we could just duplicate everything we see on the mainland. We don't get, I mean, even our mail. getting our mail. Why it is that a lot of these people are selling to us, charging us international price and shipment, or they don't ship here because they're in US and up in 2026. Why are we having these issues? You know, we have to get a little more aggressive. We should never have a situation where they don't know we're in the room. We here fighting the wrong sort of battles. Meanwhile, I'm seeing signs that Quality Auto Parts closing. KFC in Frederickstead is getting ready to close. Kmart has closed. Urban Threads, who've been around since I was a child, they're closed. And nobody's asking the question, what's happening? Why all these stores that have been around for decades are just closing? Is it the high cost of power? What's going on? Did they raise the rent? Nobody is concerned. I mean, where do you go to get the items that you used to get in Kmart? Your underwears, your undergarments, your socks, your this and that. I know that we have some smaller stores that carry in these things now, but we lost a major store here on the island of St. Croix, one in St. Thomas. I mean, nobody saw that. Nobody realized that happened. Nobody realized that these staple stores on the island of St. Croix are shuttered. No, no questions. How can we help you? Please don't close. We need the revenues. We need for you all to keep your employees. No help for them. When we talk about incentives, that's what we should be looking at. How can we help these small businesses stay open so that, they could thrive, that we could have employment, we could have local businesses? It seems too quiet to me. This is just my opinion. It is very quiet to me that every time business is shut down that's been around for generations, there is nothing to be said. I remember how devastated I felt as a young individual looking at Brown Soda close, looking at Island Dairies shutter, you know. The best milk, I don't care what nobody say, the best milk, ice cream, juice, you name it. We were in school drinking Island Dairies milk. What happened? We can't just sit back and allow things to disappear because we don't want to step up and say something. How do we save these small businesses while we're talking about incentives for larger industries, which is also necessary? What we have for the layman, what we have for those who probably got about 2 or 3 employees and trying to build up a business, but can't keep on the light throughout the day because they can't pay. The power bill is almost the same as the rent. What do we do for them? It can't be that, okay, they're too small for this, but then we didn't create an incentive for them. But you're amending a bill to give more incentives to who are already getting. And, I can't knock people are doing the work, but I mean, we have 15 senators. I'm happy to see somebody doing something, but 15 senators, 15 minds that are entrusted by the people of the Virgin Islands. We can't just sit back and wait for when the governor sends down a bill because you don't seem to be having enough motion in the legislature. That is left to when there is something, a hot button, something that just he wants to address, but not this regular. I don't know if they had any other governor that sent down more legislation than the current governor, and that's not a good look because it's like he has to give you guidance. No, the legislature is a powerful branch of government. You control the money, you control the legislature. Even if the governor wanted to veto a bill, you could come and override. I mean, you are the movers and shakers. You can't only have your ideas be, well, I am gonna have to pay a little more to fill the gap. When you're creating a bigger gap, it can't be that. It can't always be, let me lean on the people of the Virgin Islands because we didn't get any new revenues in. And I think collectively, I mean, that's what your caucus about. You have your meetings and everything. This thing about only having discussions when you're on the legislative floor with these entities that you want to create new guidelines for and all of this. No, senators used to meet, go out and see what's happening. That's why everybody had a car. I know it was a controversial thing, but every senator should have a vehicle to go out if you're going to do the people walk. Now, if you plan to just be hanging out and all of this, that's a different story. But senators used to go out in neighborhoods when they call and say, hey, you got sewage backing up in such and such a location. You go down, you see what happening. This tower falling down in Kennedy. You go out and you see what happening. You don't just sit back and, oh yeah, that's what they say. And then ask the agency a question, they ain't answer you back with nothing that makes sense and you move on. No. Go in the neighborhoods and see what's happening. Recreational centers should be open in these neighborhoods. Why are they closed? We're talking about giving the children something to do, having a safe space. The rec centers are closed. And while we on that subject, me, myself, I grew up going down in Canigata as one of the locations. I grew up playing in that playground. A lot of things in my life happened down in Canigata. Same thing with Wim, down in West, Sign Farm. Why is it that, and I sit and I watch this forever, when we gonna pave the little strip of road there to get into Canigata? Just a little strip of road to get into Canigata. I mean, cheese and bread. I have to literally drive up on the left-hand side in a little thing of grass to get in there so my car can make it in. Come on. You want people to patronize these locations, have the children play. Sometimes even adults, we want to sit down, have a little lunch there. It's a nice, quiet, calm. You see the kids playing. I mean, please pave the little entrance there. The other day, I tried to drive down through Mumbiju to get in the back to go by Spratt Hall. Oh my goodness. Besides that tree being in the road, and let me big up those guys that came out and moved that humongous tree that had fallen down in the road back there with their personal vehicles and some rope they had in their cars, and about 5, 6 of them were out there dragging this tree out the road. The potholes are out of control back there. Somebody sprayed around them and putting it out there so that Public Works could take a look, whoever needs to take a look. I know if there's potholes all over the place, that is just something that's been happening. We have rain, we have weather, we have all kind of thing. Back there, oh Jesus. And because of the lighting situation, it becomes unsafe because I can't see when it get dark now. So, oh God, I don't call my car Bethany, eh? Bethany dropping so much hole back there that I had to lift up and put her on my back to walk out to get through Mumbiju and the other side because whoa, right? So I know somebody sprayed. I don't know if it was Public Works or a private citizen. But I'm hoping that that could be addressed sooner than later and we get some good lighting around the place. I saw that there's some lights that went up there on the road by St. John's and St. Croix. Thank you for that, because I have been driving that road at night and not being able to see where I am going. So thank you. Wapa put those lights up back there. I appreciate you for that. But there is a lot of stuff to be done. And those of you who are spraying the circles around, thank you to the circles around those potholes so that we can see them in the interim of them being repaired. Thank you. I don't know what the rules are about that, but thank you guys, because my car, I think if it drop in one more pothole, it'll be walking. Okay. And I don't have the favor of having another um a car that they gonna give me and fuel they gonna give me. So I have to walk away. I got but yes, that's my little spew on that. We have work to do, people. We have work to do, and we have to get serious. I see my family in the BVI is dealing with, and I don't like this because we are one Virgin Islands. I have my folks in the BVI, and we have our people here on the US side, and we usually can always come to some sort of an agreement about what we're doing collectively that both territories can prosper. And now we're in a situation where we're asking the president to get involved and talking about these marine fees and all of that. I ain't gonna lie, the last time I went to the BVI, it was 100 and something, maybe over $200 with these fees. But I was like, whoo, okay. Well, I ain't gonna be able to visit as much as I would like, but we have to come to some common ground somewhere. We can't allow what's happening in the world to change the way we operate as family. You know, um, I am confident that if we sit down um, again and have some discussions, we could find some sort of resolve. But we have to be willing to come back together, right? So shout out to my BVI folks, my BVI family over there. Um, Always very supportive of me. If you all don't know, my grandfather um, is from Tatola. My mother's father is from Tatola, and so I have Buku family on that side, and they look out for me, and I appreciate them very much. Also in Puerto Rico, I have some on the live right now. Um, Everybody, they holding me down. Um, I did want to mention that I had another loss in my family. I'm telling you, this is I guess I'm at the age now where this becomes a more regular occurrence, and I I can't tell you. It feels like you're just above water. This is like every 3 months I've been experiencing some sort of loss in my family. Um, my aunt's husband, Mr. Clarence, passed away, and it really, it always, um, there are some people that you think would be in your life forever. You don't actually ever see your life without them, you know? And so this one kind of threw us for a loop. And I just want to send my condolences to my family, my cousins. Those are my first cousins. Um, Clarence, Remy, Freddie, and the entire family circle that are grieving this loss. He was a kind man. I remember him from very, very little. I would be in my aunt's house watching The Price is Right, and she had like her, game shows. I Listen to me. One of the things I could remember about growing up in the Virgin Islands is um, our community is very big on stories, and for the Hispanic community, novellas and game shows, right? So I had an aunt, Marilyn, who was into game shows. And then I had another aunt, Rita, down in West, in Lagoon Project. She was into the stories, the all my children's and the this and the that. I could have tell you what time it coming on, what going on with Elizabeth and the whole 9 yards as the world turns, the whole shebang. And then Auntie Marilyn with game shows, and you have to get some nice cereal when you go over by her and Mr. Clarence come in and stuff. I had such great experiences growing up, and that is why I think partially I thought it was necessary to put myself out there as an option for you all, because those are the things we're missing now. The spaces for young people to thrive. You know, playing the games, having the stories, being able to have that camaraderie, knowing people from different neighborhoods you didn't know because we played sports and we would travel east, west, north, and south. Um, and really getting to know people, getting to know their families. So even if you get a little fallout, you ain't looking to want to take anybody life for all of us are family, you know. Oh, you belong to such and such. Oh yeah, you look like this. Okay, you belong to Esdel. And that's all we knew life, and that's why I know. And I would like that for my children and their children. And that's the Virgin Islands I know. Playing baseball, playing softball. Then I see me know nothing about cricket, eh? I don't see them playing. I could watch. All I know is they got one big paddle, look very similar to that one they used to have in school when you ain't behave yourself. So just the joy of being a child and being able to be in a child's place and not have to take on the burdens of adults was amazing growing up in the Virgin Islands. And I still will encourage anybody that I meet to raise their children in the Virgin Islands. I know for us, we've gone a long way from what we've known, but it's still one of the safest places, despite what it might say about this national average and this and that, which is pure foolishness because they're using a statistical grid of a city for an island. Let's just first say that. So the math ain't gonna math, right? Ain't gonna make sense. We know we don't have murders and all kind of thing bacchanal every single day of the year in the Virgin Islands. So to give that impression is unfair, but we know what we're working with. Long story short, I wouldn't choose anywhere else to raise my picnic. Okay? So that being said, I just want to continue to encourage everyone to have a sense of understanding that this all that's going on is temporary. The Virgin Islands has been through some trials. We were the ones that get hit twice with a Category 5 hurricane, back to back in 2 weeks. We still here. We still standing. We are the ones that are able to navigate COVID. When everybody said, no, 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 don't come here. We were the ones that set the guide and the precedents to get through that pandemic. We are the same ones that are able to, in the midst of everybody losing everything, build out of nothing. When the help didn't come right away, we still were able to sustain. When they couldn't get us St. Thomas fast enough, when the storms came, we jumped in our private boats from St. Croix and we got over there and we helped. We brought generator, water, food. Nobody hesitated. And that is what I could say I'm proud of when it comes to the Virgin Islands. We might not like you. We might have cursed you yesterday. But let something really serious happen. We don't hesitate to jump in and kick into gear. And that's what I know. And we will always be like that. We are at a breaking point now when we have to decide where we're going from here. The blaming of this one and that one, irrelevant, right? What has taken place has already happened. It's time to move on. We don't need to go back to who fault it is. Oh, this one ain't do this. This other one ain't no good. Well, you could still say something if you want. But let's make sure that we take note and we do what we have to do. We need to register to vote. We need to get active. We need to say and demand what we want as a community. And don't leave it to the other person to be burdened with making the choice and then you argue about it after the fact. Oh, I don't vote because this and that. But these people, no, no, no. Just like our forefathers shed blood for our ability to vote, even if you're going to booth and you just press, because you do have this option to press no vote and just exercise the right that you have because someone else sacrificed for us. You couldn't do that. Greetings, you're on keeping in touch.
Greetings. Isn't this a picture perfect Saturday paradise?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. How are you?
I am feeling blissful.
Awesome.
Finally have freedom to roam,
Okay.
to drive. Got my own vehicle again.
Oh, yes.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Now you're really outside.
Feel liberated.
Yes, I know the feeling. I know the feeling, boy. Mhm.
Finally. But anyway, I'm just feeling it. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm just reminiscing on growing up in a territory and getting to a point now where I feel like we can say whatever we say because all of us have a opinion, we have feelings, and I'm not saying you can't share those things. But when we call out negative, we can also say, you know what, forget, listen, we that is done, and this is what we're gonna do now. This is the
Right.
point where we need to decide this is how we collectively moving forward so that our islands can prosper. We are, and I reflected on we've had a lot of ups and downs. We've had the two category 5 hurricanes. We've had all kind of things happen in our territory that other places may not have survived, and we're still here. So now it's time to make up our mind to thrive, move forward, push forward. It don't matter this one do this and that, and yeah, okay, we could have a discussion, but what we gonna do next? That's where I am right now.
That makes a lot of sense to me because I was just listening to some folks throwing some shades at me. Um, I always get pitchfork.
Hmm.
I don't talk about corruption. Everybody could talk about what they want to talk about.
Right.
Freedom of speech, First Amendment right.
Correct.
I like to focus on the process.
Hmm.
And I do like to talk about politics, but I mostly like to deal with political history and facts that we can verify.
Right.
Because when you get into this discussion about political ideologies, some people can't handle it. They go to a next level or below a level where they just engage emotionally instead of having a civil dialogue. We could all have our own opinion. We can't have our own facts. Facts can be verified.
Correct. And like I
And
say,
mhm,
people oftentimes want to get personal and argue with you because they cannot
exactly.
challenge you on the facts. And my thing is, you can agree to disagree. I don't have to talk about your mother, who you're sleeping with, and all of that. I mean, unless it personally affected me, I don't have to get there. I could use my intellect and I could have a discussion with you, and we agree to disagree, and you move on and I move on. This thing about every day you got to call my name, and no, that ain't making
But
no
the
sense.
governor, I think some people that call the governor name in their sleep, they are so obsessed.
Well,
It's like,
he is a very
wow.
popular guy.
I guess he has that kind of effect that even when you're sleeping, you're calling his name. He's a this, he's a that. Like I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion. And I don't like when others tell me who is the best candidate. That's an insult to my intelligence because it may be best for you, but not
well,
best for
they could say in
me.
their opinion. They
Yeah,
could,
that's an opinion.
hmm
When you talk about best, greatest, those are opinions.
hmm
And I do share my opinions sometimes, but I tend to restrain at certain controversial issues. You have the pros, the cons. There's no wrong or right opinion.
Right.
But I like to get as much facts as possible. And my opinion can change.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, I was on the fence with an elected attorney general. But now I think I've shifted over to like definitely I would want us to have an elected attorney general. But the same people that are blasted, we don't realize this. If you don't have your own constitution, tell me Miss Constitution, lady. If you don't have your own constitution, you cannot amend the revised Organic Act of 1954.
Well, here's the thing, and I mean, I haven't really considered the well, electing someone in general comes with some other issues. What am I talking about? How you get elected says a lot about how you can operate, and so we have to keep that in mind because whenever you put out someone to be elected, you have to consider who they're getting financed from, who may have influenced their campaign, and so forth. And so that in itself is a whole lot of can of worms to think about when you're electing someone for any office. That, especially when you're talking about legalities, well, attorney general having to make tough decisions. You don't want that person to be compromised. Not that they will be, but I'm just saying that opens a whole nother opportunity for something like that to occur. So that's something that I would look at before thinking, I want to, elect an attorney general. So, but I know there are some districts that do it. So, to
Well,
each his
there's
own.
pros and cons,
Right.
but
In
I
everything.
consider one factor. This is a small community, close knit, and chances of nepotism and political loyalty play a big factor in that. So it's not going to
Absolutely.
become less political necessarily to elect. Actually, it's becoming more political because that person has to campaign. And how you campaign does say a lot about how you will govern.
Right. It also says that you may be operating in a certain way because you're thinking of being reelected. No, same thing goes
Yes,
for in a senatorial or gubernatorial race. We know that there are some people that would operate a certain way because they're only worried about not ruffling or hurting somebody that may have
exactly.
helped them or support them. Now, my biggest thing is, it's kind of taboo because we have elected officials that operate as if they're not elected, and they just doing whatever and then assume the people ain't paying attention, and so they get reelected. And maybe that's the case sometimes, but I think this time around people have their eyes wide open and they're more um you know interested, as we are now going into a bigger race which includes a gubernatorial race. We know that that usually brings out more voters. And so I'm excited. I started out on the show saying
I'm
I'm
excited
excited
too.
because people are seemingly more involved. They're asking. When I go out, they're asking me questions. They would say, "Man, I have only ever seen you online, and I'm happy to meet you in person and so forth." And yeah, I am getting I'm able to interact on a different levels. I mean, I don't look different every time you see me. I so you might have met me before you just say you know it was me. but but I like to change up my look and so forth because I when I was growing up, it was such a straight shooter kind of situation. Elizabeth, you ain't doing this, that. So now I broke out. I looking like the other day I went away. They tell me, oh, you look so much like Beyonce. I say, no, no, no. I look like Elizabeth 2.0. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that the people are really getting ignited. And if anything else, win, lose, or draw, for me, I am just happy they are they are getting there, they're getting back in the groove.
Well, you sound positive. I am hopeful too, and I hope, yes, they have the eyes open wide
Mm-hmm.
and the blinders off, but they also have to listen attentively. And you mentioned that as one of your skills. I don't think a lot of people listen. They
Well,
hear
a lot of
things,
people listen
but they
not to
don't listen, they don't
understand,
pay
they just
attention.
listen to respond because they already have come to their own conclusion. And my
Exactly,
thing
the
is,
bias.
my thing is, if you really care about this place, it don't matter where you're born, where you're raised. If you're here right now and you say you care about this place, you have to be open. None of us are perfect. I tell people one of the joys I have is understanding I can learn from anybody at any time. I love to have conversations with people and just learn, even if it's how they think, why they think the way they think, why they don't agree with me. What happened in your background that's different from mine that gives us a different perspective. But you can't just move around in the world, or you shouldn't move around in the world closed minded because you will miss out on some great things.
Well, I hope with your words of wisdom, you will be educating, enlightening, and inspiring minds like I try to do. And I'm saying when we compare the present administration to previous administration and coming to our own conclusions about which one was the best, keep in mind that's subjective because you have to look at each administration have a different set of issue circumstance. And I like what the governor says, surf the wave that come at you. It's like this, the cards that you play because the circumstances today is not identical to those of the past. Each governor has to make a decision based on the existing circumstances, taking into consideration the historical aspect, of course. But nonetheless, we don't know because we could never go back and say if so and so was the governor, this would have never happened or this would happen. You don't know that because it's no way we can know that. First of all, we don't know the future.
Correct.
We
But
don't
you
know
know how
if
people, how
tomorrow is
much
not
people
even
say
promised to
stuff
us.
like that. Oh, if this one was did, you don't know, it might be worse. Let me tell you,
Yeah,
one thing
I'm
I
gonna
learned
say
is take what I
something
get.
you know.
When you buy it, you got to wear it. You take what you get and you move on because only God above knows what it is, right? I don't live my life in what coulda, shoulda, and would have been at all.
Exactly. And then this thing, everybody is entitled to campaign how they want to campaign, and money is a factor, of course. Just
Mhm.
my opinion, focusing on all the downfalls, the pitfalls, mistakes of the current administration, it doesn't do it for me. Or mudslinging and just dealing with pettiness of the governor, that doesn't do it for me. Okay, I want to see what solutions you are offering, propose solutions to issues. I like people to focus on issues and the ideas and resolutions and not get into talking about other people. I find that very petty. So every time when I think about this, I think about one thing that will stay in my mind about Michael Spring. I used to always say, small minds talk about people, medium minds talk about events, and great minds talk about ideas. So I like to focus on the process. And I don't tell people who to vote for, how to vote. I just say go out, get registered to vote. I always have my ABC list. A list, definitely approved. You get my vote.
Mhm.
B list, blacklisted, black.
So B is for black.
Buffoon,
Listen.
buffoon, buffoonery, convict, BS artist.
Oh boy.
Never getting my vote for
Mhm.
nothing. But I will never come on the airwaves and denigrate any candidate. I
Mhm.
commend all the candidates for throwing their hats in the ring. I respect that. I'm willing to listen to those on the C list and the A list. The B list, like I said, buffoonery. I got time for that. I'm wasting my time. But the C list, consideration, which most people will be on. When I made that final decision, I don't have to say to the world, I try to influence somebody. I'm not endorsing anybody public. Of course, I'm going to have those who I support, and that's my choice.
Yeah.
But people need to respect. And this thing about just tearing down the mudslinging, it's so distasteful. I mean, maybe it works to some extent, but it doesn't work for me. I don't have that much respect for any prospective candidate that wants to spend a lot of time and energy tearing down somebody else in our community.
Well, I think for me, the mudslinging. I mean, you're open to be able to say that what you've seen and what you're not happy with anyone. Here's my thing: if your entire campaign is about cussing and carrying on about somebody else, we could do that on the can. I don't need to elect you for that, right?
Right. Everybody could
We could be in the fish market and you could cuss all day. I don't need you for that. So if that's your platform, better you stay home, right? But if you have some merit where you could say, this person is not doing well, they're not doing the job how you would like. However, these are my opinions on how we can fix it. Then I want to see and hear what you got going on.
I can respect that. If you say this is how I was in the situation, this is how I would focus handle. But that's what it says. Monday quarterback. Yeah, easy after the fact that people come and say what they should have and all of that. But tell me some ideas you have. Now I've heard candidates say, I don't want to give up my idea because somebody else could steal it. I tell people could steal mine. I'm running for office. I got a lot of ideas I could throw out. Anybody wants to run with them?
But here's the thing: you could have ideas, can you get them done? I keep telling people. I remember, and after this, I'll have to let you go. We have calls with it, but I remember watching my mother and thinking, "Wow, how's she gonna get this done? This is such a controversial bill, and this and that." And she wasn't in the majority. A lot of people don't realize she wasn't in the majority. Most of her career, she was in a minority, but she got so much legislation done. And she had to be strategic. You have to be able to think outside the box. You have to be able to work with your colleagues, show them what the ideas are, and let them understand. I'm convinced, be able to negotiate. All of these things are part of the process.
Compromise.
Yeah. So this idea that people say, oh, she used to just belong. No, no, no. You have a more master negotiator than Chucky Hansen, you hear me? And I challenge anybody to check the legislations and see anybody that passed more meaningful legislation than her, that we still utilizing today, including the Hotel Development Act that they're taking credit for, the Tourism Revolving Fund they're taking credit for, the hotel occupancy tax they're taking credit for, timeshare, and all of that. We could talk the talk, but you need to walk the walk. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. Can be verified.
Right. So
you can hate her, love her, and that's the thing I said. Those who are tearing down the administration and tearing down Democrats, and says the Democrats cause all the problems, but they don't want to tell you about the accomplishments of the administration. Yes, the Paris Stadium being there forever, right? I don't know. Same thing like the bypass. It was on the drawing board forever, the bypass, until it was done under the Young administration. But I mean, every administration...
before him. So it's been going for some time. But give me a call back. Let me let some others get in.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
That. I always inspire talk.
Yes.
Don't talk about me.
Oh, Lord. Just know you're famous. All right, you too. Greetings, John. Keep it in touch.
Morning, how are you?
I am standing. How are you doing?
Good. I have a little frog in my throat, but
That's okay. We
I
could
I
understand you.
I am take every election I take serious. I
Mhm.
have not missed an election to vote since I registered back in 1975 to now, so you can tell my age.
Mhm.
What is critical for me in any election? I do not adhere to name calling. So from the time you get up on the radio and you start calling people demo rats and demo this, and
Mhm.
I'm not listening to you. I tune you out already. I am looking for the individuals that can move our islands forward, that have the ability to do so, and the wherewithal, the knowledge,
Mhm.
and the partnerships that can help us. This situation with Epstein for me happened, is not a big priority for me as a voter. I am sorry. That's me. And I'm pretty sure some people feel like me, other people feel different. That's their right. But in this election, the first in command and the second in command for governorship are critical for me, as well as those senators that I know can move these islands forward and that can work collaboratively with each other to move us in a different direction. Okay?
Right.
I thank the current administration for the work that they have done in a perfect administration. Every administration have done bad, they have done good, they have done enough to move us to the needle from A to B. So I'm looking for the next person to move me from B to F.
Mm-hmm.
And that is critical for me. Okay? I am tired every time I turn around Epstein. For me, I speaking for me. Every time I hear it, I'm sorry it happened. I apologize to the individuals that were affected. But the more I hear it, it just turns me off.
Well, my thing is, we not to say it's not an important topic that needs to be discussed, but
Right.
here it is for me. That should not engulf our whole being, right?
Right.
Or define us in any way. And I have,
That's
and
right.
I think about 2 weeks back, I had my whole spew about that because,
Mm-hmm.
long story short,
Mm-hmm.
it happened, and whatever is to be as far as investigations will take place.
Will take place.
But
Right.
this thing about you only know Virgin Islanders based on Epstein, pure foolishness in my book. Don't come to me and tell me how we're the most corrupt and no, 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 no. When I create corruption, please don't. And
That's
I got
right.
either get sensitive to it because we are the ones that have been shedding blood for this country for many years. Nobody don't talk about that.
That's right.
They come, they take our resources. When they need to pack up the battleships, they do it here. So don't come and tell me about Virgin Islanders is the worst thing under the sun. Because
Right.
we have fought in your wars.
Mm-hmm.
We have invented, we have changed life in the mainland and around the entire world. We
Right.
freed ourselves. Don't come to me about my people and talk to us in like you and come in and ride in on your white house now and save us. No, we good.
That's right. That's right.
This is the time we need to just move forward.
And I said to the electorate, weigh your options. Look at your stronghold, the people that are going to move us. To take aside everything else, look at what they bring to the table and how they can move us. Look at the past history. What have they done to move us forward? These are things we need to be thinking on. And so that's my piece for today. I want everybody to come out and vote like they never voted before. This is our elections are serious, but we have more candidates in the race this year. So please come out, exercise your right, and feel free to do what you want to do. Don't let nobody put no stronghold on you. And always come. I am positive. I always positive.
Mhm.
I take a negative and I turn it into a positive. And that's me for this election. I want good things to happen to my people. I love my people in the Virgin Islands and I want us to do good. And I want us to move forward in a different direction.
Yes.
And that's my piece for today.
Well, thank you so much for sharing it here and keeping in touch. Don't be
You're
a
welcome.
stranger.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Yeah, man. It's getting sickening. Let me tell you something. It's one thing to call out a situation, whatever it may be, but don't come trying to mark up all of us with this foolishness, right? I'm over it. This thing about, oh, are you is this and are you can listen. In every community have a set. We are not unique. Just like every community got the issues, every community need help, you know, whatever it is. But this thing about we have to be saved because we don't know. Oh, we got to bring the somebody else in from outside because what? Because we're not intellectually savvy, we're not educated. We are some of the most educated people around. When you look and that's why I tell you all, pay attention. Because while we talk about our population in the US Virgin Islands has decreased, we are somewhere. Many of us Virgin Islanders that are living on the mainland are executives. We're on the news, we're making movies, we in all the intricate areas, we're musicians, we all over the world dominating. So because they're not on the soil, don't mean somehow we less than anybody else. We change in the world from all corners of the world. We all over. So don't come and say, oh, and being educated and you have to somehow guide us to understand. No, no, no. Please don't insult us. Those that decide they want to talk about, okay, you're anti-party or anti, I understand it. I understand it because as a registered Democrat myself, I have issues with my own party. I have issues with people that are supposed to represent me, just like y'all. Let's not get it twisted because there are some of those that are saying, don't vote Democrat, don't vote Democrat. And I know you have your reason for why you're saying that. Things haven't been pretty or cute or some, a lot of time ain't making no sense. I being real with you. I am a registered Democrat like many of you. And let's not forget the majority of the population here in the Virgin Islands are registered Democrats. It's just a thing here. We know the dynamics of the politics in our territory. That doesn't mean we agree with every single thing the Democratic Party does or every elected Democrat does. Let me pick sense out of nonsense. Many of you, like myself, are Democrats and we don't agree with everything going on. It don't make us less intelligent because we are registered Democrats. That just means that more of us that are registered Democrats need to represent in the party. We need to come out and show we have a difference of opinion. We don't agree with some of the crap that going on. You can't just come out and decide, okay, because this person is a registered Democrat, that they're not good. Just so. And some of you registered Democrat too. No. If you have a problem with your party, then you fix your party. You go ahead and say, listen, this representative does not represent what I feel, what I know to be true, what makes sense. Let's get somebody else. But to let somebody just hijack the party because they can, that don't make sense. The party should be a reflection of who they represent. And if they're not, then change the fold. That's how it works. We have democracy for a reason. We have elections and primaries for a reason. I get to a point, I don't like what I see. I decide, hey, I think I could do better. I am here, I am open. And if the stars don't align, then they don't align. But this thing about, oh, as soon as you associate, no, no, no. Because I could tell you a million and one things I don't agree with them. That doesn't make me less of a Democrat. That just means why you're doing don't align with what I believe. And I need for you to step up and do the right thing. This thing where we sitting down and we people are hurting you and you're ignoring it. I am not with it. But when you're going to step up, if you're a registered Democrat, step up. You don't like your representation, change it. Simple as that. Not all this and then I know I have some of you or no party. That listen to me, Republican ICM. We in a small territory, no party bigger than the Virgin Islands. We are to respect and to represent the entire Virgin Islanders. We or Virgin Island. You don't get when you go in under a party or not under a party. Long story short, when you hit that gavel and you make those decisions, you're doing it for all Virgin Islanders, not a few, not for those who are Democrat alone or those who are Republican alone or ICM alone. It's all of us. We get to either prosper together or fail together. That's it. It don't matter what party you're under or no party or whatever party. The only party around here is the Virgin Islands and it done. So this thing, this idea of excluding this and excluding that based on a symbol, miss me with the stupidness, because it don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Let a system work for you. Go out and make sure you advocate. Get your children to vote. Why you have grown children in your house? You paying your taxes. You got a roof over your head. You got all these things that you have to pay. And they're in your house and they don't vote. Madness. When mine hit 18, we registering. Even if you're going down, you press no vote, they registered. Because we paid the ultimate price for that. And you ain't gonna disrespect anybody by not doing your due diligence and your civic duties around here. You ain't living in my house and you ain't being counted. Even if I mean a no vote, that's fine. But it's this idea that we're not going to vote and expect things to be different. It makes no sense. Why would you encourage your child? And a lot of you need to understand the power you have in your household. You have a young person in your household that you can educate about what needs to be done in the territory. Hey, read this, look at this. Are you go out and vote? So they respect you, respect what you come with. All of that. Why wouldn't you encourage them to have a stay in where they live, they breathe, they reside? Why wouldn't you encourage that? Everybody else want to run down here and vote in your place. You should not feel okay not participating in the elections that decide who is to govern the place that you live. And then you upset about the results. That's madness. That is pure madness. So like I say, I prefer to be a part of the solution instead of a part of the problem. I prefer that if I'm uncomfortable, I say I'm uncomfortable. I don't leave it up to somebody to assume or guess. I want to be counted, and you should want to be counted too. This thing about let's wait and see what happens. No. That time has passed because we've seen a lot of things. We've lost a lot of things. Whether it's life, whether it's resources, developments, education. How many schools you're gonna close in the territory? I mean, we've lost enough. 30,000 plus people leave the territory. Housing. We had a thriving society, so we know it's possible. We used to provide the world's sugar, so we know we into small to agriculture. Why don't we have an identified crop that you say that we export out of the territory? In 2026, everybody else in the Caribbean have one. Let's incentivize and do something. Let's choose a crop and say, hey, farmers, we need you to mass produce this, and this is what you'll get in return. How hard is that? We got money for everything else. We have to stop the blaming and the, we used to and we used to. No, we here now. What we gonna do? So miss me with the, oh, that one is this and that one is that, and so they can't. You have you listened to what they've said? Have you listened to their platform? Have you heard the ideas and made a conscious decision whether this person is in the best interest of the Virgin Islands, or you just got something with a certain group of people? I mean, we need to get over the egos and all of the stuff that don't make sense. If you could produce, I don't care what party or no party and whatever. I just need you to produce, because right now we cannot afford to take one more step backwards. How about that? We need somebody that could understand legislation, craft legislation, get in there and just walk. I don't need to be worrying about who I gonna offend because they donate something to me. These are the kind of individuals you need. No, somebody that's not compromised, someone who's willing to go the extra effort, do the extra mile without worrying about the repercussions. I have been raised by an individual who went through a lot. And there was one point in time where I said I would never want to be in the public. I would never want to do these things. Um, because I saw my parents, my whole family suffer for it. It's not easy when somebody attacks your children. I mean, people have tried to kill my parents before, do stuff with my mother. Car, my mother run off the road, had a neck brace. Like, you think politics serious now? When I was growing up, politics was real business. People trying to kill you, real business. Do you think that it's easy to go up against places like Hovensa Oil Refinery, go up against big boys like WAPA and these kind of things, and not have repercussions for stepping up, sometime by yourself, taking them to court? We had a whole case happen for over 8 years of my life. My parents were in court for something they didn't do. And after I was all said and done, nobody come back and say, well, they didn't do it. No, my mother went out and we did it as a family and as a community. We had a group of people giving out food when the government said they couldn't feed people after storms. They turn around and they say we eat the food. Well, I don't know how much food we could have eaten. So, I mean, these are the sacrifices sometimes that you have to make in order for your people to thrive. When you look at people like Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, you look at people like uh, Malcolm X, they didn't live to see 50 years old. These people died very young, but had already made life-changing impact in their communities. Um, these are the things that you have to be willing to do if you say you want to be a public servant. You don't get to call and say, hey, I ain't coming in today because I want to hang out with such and such and such and they got party. No, we got session, we got a bit of session. We have this important legislation to deal with. You have to be present. And then don't come to work and I abstain, or you run off the legislature floor because you don't want to be held to account to a vote and these kind of games. It's a yes or no. Yes or no. This is the kind of thing we have to understand is not a game. For everything that we've lost, there is much to gain. And when you're working your way back up to a certain level, you have to be serious. Everybody, all hands on deck. All hands on deck. We've lost the Syncre Avis, the longest black-owned printing newspaper. We lost that. Like I said, we had island dairies, we had pharmaceuticals, we had watch factories. I mean, we had so many different things in our territory to assist us. We can't just lean on cruise ships. Yes, it's a great help on overnight stays in our hotels. We have to have some sort of push to expand, open our opportunities up, reinforce our workforce. Why is it that we don't have a hospital associated with our university? We have medical degrees now that we can have to our university. Build a hospital associated with the University of the Virgin Islands. That stimulation center could have been a clinic. I'm sure they have the guy equipment in there better than JFL right now. Why isn't it a clinic? I mean, since we have to make sensible decisions to move us forward, you know, um, there's so many ideas in this little head here, but long story short is I need for everyone to collectively jump on board. This thing about no, I gonna just sit back because they're gonna do the same or well, you expecting the same old thing because guess what? It's just the same group of us that are voting. If you input yourself out, if you feel like you can be a part of the solution, put yourself out there. I know it's hard because many of us can't afford to take off a whole year without having insurance or income, and we have families to feed. I've made the decision. I don't know what could happen, right? Me, I don't have no magical box that makes me different from anybody else. It's going to be hard, and it's scary to think that I won't have an income, but I have to make it work because I can't sit back and point out all the faults and all the issues and not try to be a part of the solution. I'm not comfortable doing that at this juncture. Something have to give, and so yes, I'm also going to. I don't know. I might not have insurance. I just gotta make sure I don't fall down, and hopefully, my children stay healthy and daddy is good and everything. But what else can I do? You know, these are some of the sacrifices that are necessary now. I know one thing I could say. Um, if the good Lord allows me to get to the finish line with the support of the people, um, I plan to make some changes because that law about having people not get their insurance or any income to maintain their families, while those who sit in office can stay on the government dime and do whatever they want, that's a problem. And I don't know when people will get off of their high horse and understand that not because you had to go through such a difficult time means that you now have to make it difficult for everybody else when you have an opportunity to fix it. Imagine if our forefathers thought like that, we'd still be enslaved right now. Oh no, 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 I got yeah, everything cool on this side. Oh, they get free and they decide they ain't gonna look back and help nobody else. What are you thinking? You're elected to improve life in the territory, not improve it for yourself. Everybody. You should not dare come, and I'm gonna tell you this. After you went and put on these extra incentives for these private companies, I better don't ever dare come to these people and say you gotta pay a little more. Because we're paying enough. We are paying enough. At this juncture, we gotta make the money work. Whatever you get from us, make it work. Make it work. Because if I got to choose between paying another bill and having food to eat, well, it gets the billing and get paid. And that's the situation we gonna end up in. We cannot be living in paradise as observers of people enjoying home and we can't enjoy it and we right here. That don't make sense. I thank God that He put us in a place where it is free to go and enjoy some sights. It is free for me to go out and have lunch and you know, down there on Rainbow Beach or down by Dorsch or down there in Gallows Bay. I don't have to pay for that. Thank God I could just walk up and I could sit down with my father and have a meal or something. Do a little cook up on the beach. And while we on that subject, Easter coming up, eh? I don't plan on paying no $600 to go up and Christmas Park and camp with my family. Ain't got a hotel up on Christmas Park. Please. I don't know which other way to say it. It's a cultural thing. You shouldn't be charging people to enjoy and maintain the culture here. We've lost too much things. Everything in our hours about money. And I'm going to talk about this. It's a very close thing to me. My parents, I've been camping since I was in my mother womb. So please, let's not kill it. It's only a few days. Let's encourage people to go out there and just enjoy family, tell the stories. That's how we pass down the history of the place, the recipes, the memories. Don't kill it. People park all over Salt River, all over the place. We don't, why we gotta pay for that? We still paying to bring in toilet and shower and all of these. Why we got to pay to gather in peace and observe, the sacrifice that Jesus made for us? Why we got to pay for that? I see Ilma, good day to you, talking about the gas prices. That's why I want to hear what the legislature's gonna do about. Okay, we know these guys gas prices are gonna go up. We barely making it, my son. I was just laughing with my dad saying, "Hey, I remember when gas was about 85 cents." And he said, "I remember when it was 32 cents." I said, "That's a long time from now, almost $4." And I know in St. Thomas is more. What we gonna do? Let me tell you, I don't have no special transport. I got my own car and I got buy my own gas. What we gonna do? Because if I could only put $20 and my 20 gonna go sub because gas gone up, what we gonna do? Is there gonna be an incentive for the gas owners? Or are you guys going to offset? Are you gonna have a conversation with them? What we gonna do? Because these are the things we need to talk about. Fuel going up. The world is changing and things are gonna affect us, yes, but we have to have a plan. We have to have a plan. Are we gonna sit and negotiate? If we saw into the president right now and we're doing all of this, are we gonna have a conversation with him about that fuel what he taking from Venezuela? If we could get some, can we get some over here? Because we are about to be paying out the rear right. This is the conversations that are necessary. I don't need to hear about who do this and oh, I mean, please, people hotting. I shouldn't have a store and I can't turn on the light. I have to open the windows, or I could only open 3 days out of the week so that I could afford to pay all the money I make to for my power and my rent. That's it. It ain't making sense. And here's another thing. If you owe me taxes uh, for whatever reason, why you penalizing me if I owe you? If you owe me more than I owe you, then how it is you penalize you sending me a penalty every month and no, we have to make sense out of nonsense. Good morning, cuz. How are you? Yes, morning to all of you that joined on. Um, we have to make sense out of nonsense. This thing about um when we owe, it's one thing. When you owe, it's a maybe kind of thing. No, that can't work. I remember people coming in to the legislature talking about losing their homes because when they retired, it took them so long to get their retirement that they were behind on the mortgage and like that house gone. We can't have that kind of situation. Or the government entity ain't paying the portion. And so You have to pay it in for them. And no, where did they do that at? GERS, I think, is one of the best systems out there, despite what the powers that be may be saying. As long as you have a viable um, employee base, you should be good 1 to 1 employee base, or I mean, make it 2 to 1 if you can. The thing is, places like Public Works that used to do all of these things, we need to revitalize Public Works. Put them to work. And then again, when we talking about, oh, we have these young people going straight from school to in the prisons, why we don't have a academy recruitment process in the schools, junior police in the schools, so that by the time they graduate, they can work for the police force. Why not? These are not new ideas. These are things that other districts have been doing. Why we can't do that here? You're struggling to get police. Create a system where you generate your own police. Same thing with your nurses. Same thing with your doctors. Come on. These children are gifted and we're losing them because they're leaving territory. Same thing with, I mean, half of the people I went to school with don't live here. They don't live here. Healthcare is another thing. What are we doing? Um, and we know we have drastic issues. We can't fix it overnight, but we have to put a plan in place. And these are the things that you don't have to wait for the governor to come up with an idea for that. Checks and balances, oversight, these are the things that make a difference. You don't wait on somebody else. You collectively as a body, you come up with a plan. I remember the last, I believe it was the last term that Senator Hansen had. She had 11 revenue generating ideas on the first day at work. 11. 11. You try to tell me you can't come up with one in 2 years? No, no, no. That's unacceptable. And for those senators who doing the work, kudos to you. But the people need to feel the impact of whatever work you're doing. Communicate. Let us know. Because from this side, it feels like we are on ice. We on ice, and we need to get to lukewarm to hot quick, 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 quick. I'm happy that at least we have people that are interested, and they've always been interested in our territory. We don't say America's paradise just for so. We are America's paradise, and the good Lord has given us the ability to have an environment that is beautiful on its own, on its own. So we have to do much. We have gifted people, talented people. We have an environment second to none. All we have to do is make up our mind that we're not going to keep going backwards because of who come with the idea. We ain't gonna get fussy because we had a falling out with this one. No, we don't have to be friends. When you come to work, you come to work, and that's it. Simple as that. Come to work and stop talking down to people, telling them, oh, well, we had to table, we had to hold this bill because we have to investigate because people are going to take advantage of the resources they have at work. First of all, we already know that's illegal. That we know that. So please don't insult our intelligence. Secondly, what are you to be doing when are you to work? Because I hear some on the radio during working hours. I see how you campaigning and doing all kind of things. So miss me and the rest of the people at the Virgin Islands with the hypocritical behavior. Just hush. You don't do what you do, don't got nothing else to say about it. But do not try to insult our intelligence. Or we don't know that we have to wait, or we can't use those resources. Now we can't do these certain things on government time, but you could do what you feel like, how you feel like, when you feel like. and you think that it's right to have the ability to say, you know what, even if you have annual leave, you could use your annual leave and continue to maintain the payment of health services, your health insurance. So what wrong with that? You saying, oh, if you want to represent, we gonna keep our health insurance and our income, but you got to figure it out for half of a year. You're gonna starve so that you ain't got nothing to help you to campaign or do anything else. You can't feed your family. You got to decide. Pick one. Choose. Because we had to do it too. If everybody that passed through the legislature had that mentality, we wouldn't be where we are today as far as being able to sustain ourselves in certain areas. We wouldn't. You can't be so selfish. And I'm speaking for me, because like I said, I have made up my mind. And my mother used to say, you just try a little more water in the rice. So I gonna figure it out. But for them and those who may have been such a gift to the Virgin Islands in service that you have decided we're gonna build the wall a little higher for you. That's who I'm talking for. There is some point in time when you have to understand it's not about you. It's not about you. Them and those who can make it, gonna make it regardless. You can't stop the train. Like they say, you can't stop the rain from falling. You might want to try to control the weather, but you cannot stop the rain from falling. All you could do is open your umbrella and hope the wind don't blow hard. So it is what it is, right? I am, you know, I am blessed with the ability to have been able to see the greats do this thing. The greats. When I talk about the greats, them and those who were not afraid of what would happen because they had to stand up for people. They weren't concerned about not getting reelected. They were concerned more about helping the people of the Virgin Islands to prosper. Those are the kind of representatives I remember growing up around, seeing them in the legislature, walking around and meeting and talking and hearing the discussions and the plans. Those are the kinds that I look up to. The ones that would take the blows and come back again the next day, not run from it. That is what I expect. I know what I am capable of. And them and those out there that putting themselves out there, I am hoping they have the same drive because we cannot accept nothing else at this point. We have gone through it. We have been through, literally been through the storms, and we came out on the other side. And we're still building. And yes, things have been done, but there's more to be done, more to be had. And we ain't going back to just surviving. We have to thrive now. We put in our work. And that's why I said they could talk all kind of what they want to talk about this island and that island. While they're talking about island, they need to talk about Fox Island. Since I want to get so deep into all these things, go and Google that Fox Island and see what went on over there. All kind of things gonna always happen in this world. We can't control that. The things we can control, we should. And that's the prosperity of the Virgin Islands based on us doing the hard work. Simple as that. Let's do the hard work. Let's call a thing a thing. I don't understand where we got to a position where we felt because we called out something that somehow that was the end of the world. I want to know when we're not doing all that we can do or when we miss something so that we can address it. Simple as that. You know, how would you know if no one tells you? It doesn't mean that somebody has any personal vendetta, so this thing about, oh, we can't make sure that we um do the right thing because we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Meanwhile, thousands of people suffering, that that can't work. So we have to make sensible decisions. We have to make sure that when we say we're gonna do something, we actually follow through, and it's not just a political season sort of situation. We know that everything isn't perfect, and there's a plaguing situations that's been here well before our time. But when we tell people we're gonna do something, we gotta do it. So I'm committed to working with people in general. Like I said, at my role at tourism, many people have approached me and asked me, how do I get a business license? How do I go and register my name and my business? Listen, as long as I have time, I spread in the knowledge because I want you to win. It ain't nothing about all this a competition or Susie ain't supposed to do good. No, no, no. When one does good, all does good. We have to make sure everybody on the road together. I want to see new restaurants and stores and selling your goods because that is good for all of us collectively. So this gatekeeping thing don't make sense, and that's not how we've historically prospered. We spread the wealth. People were working. People were investing. It was good. We had good vibes everywhere. We still got good vibes because the people heart gonna be their heart, regardless. You ain't gonna change us. But we can always do better. Just like I said the other day, Florida, every time you go Florida, you see a road being built, right? They don't stop. And then that they have to have all those roads. They just make them you need people to walk and pay the taxes. Let we build a road. Let we build a bridge. Let we dig a hole over here. That's how you do it. You make sure everybody good. Environment makes a difference. I am here with you guys. I know I'm supposed to have a guest that was traveling in today. I will have to try to send a message to see what's going on. I hope everything is okay. But I only have a few minutes left, so I'll find out and then I'll get back to you all and find out what's going on there. But long story short, for me, time to move and going back. So um I know last week I shared with you all that I was going to give you some information about some benefits here with wormwood, and I had started giving you some information. And one of the things I want y'all to do is make sure that you keep your body healthy. Um, there's too many people in general passing away from things that can be addressed if they're just given the right information and access to certain things. This thing about having to get a pill for everything. While again, I'm not a medical physician, um, I've worked in a Wang Louis hospital. I've worked at the health department. I am familiar with a lot of things, and you will find that many of the things that are coming out now publicly about um, medicinal uses have been things that have been utilized around the world for many, many, many years. And now they're trying to put them in a pill and sell them to you. Well, let me tell you, we have the good grace and the gift of living in an island where we have access to natural bushes and we should utilize them. When your parents used to be cleaning you out and all of this, these things had a reason and a purpose behind of it. And while we used to just think, oh God, they gave me this nasty thing to drink, this nasty thing could save your life. So go back to basics and know what you know and be confident in many things. Now, of course, you should always ask your doctor, but again, remember your doctor is trained in a certain way with certain things. Bushes have been around from the beginning of time, and before we had the ability to put things in a pill, people used to drink tea bush and these kind of things. Wormwood, I told you all about last week. Black walnut is something we're going to discuss next week if I get an opportunity. Um, chaparral and all of these different bushes, burdock. And I'm not telling you anything that I don't use myself. Okay, oregano oil and these kind of stuff. And again, just like anything else, you have to be very cautious about the things that you're introducing into your lifestyle. Everybody's body is different, but I'm just telling you what I personally use. Um, and if you don't have the ability to get all these bushes, some of them aren't available here. There are ways to order them from the other islands or get them on the mainland and even from other countries. Just read and do your research. It's important because you can't function if you ain't healthy. I'm telling you this, I'm reiterating this to you. You know, my dad go all over the place with me. When he goes out with me, they say, "Oh, you look so good. You look so." And I know my father look good. I got some good genes, but he also sticks to a routine. He makes sure he drinks his bushes. He's very health conscious, and it shows on the way he looks. You know, everybody, around him can see, like they can't believe that he is the age that he is, and he looks the way he looks. So yes, we get older, but we have to compensate this body. Um, as long as you take care of it, you could have it for many years in good health. You want to be able to do that, do the right thing. Nobody comes before your body because when you're in a plane, they say put on your mask first, then you help the other person. They didn't say cover the child first, the baby next to you, and no. Put on your mask first, then you can help everybody else. So that's how you have to operate when it comes to your body. I had to learn that myself because when you're working all the time, you don't think about these things. You always think, I'm gonna try tomorrow. Sometimes you don't have tomorrow. I've seen people my age pass away, and without any sign, any sickness before knowing anything, and they just gone. And as much as it's just a wake up call, pay attention, pay attention. It's a wake up call to understand what's really important. You can't do anything for anybody if you don't take care of you first. So if that's your mental, it's your physical, whatever it is, do what you need to do. If you know something is overwhelming, let people know. I see people come to work and they walk themselves to death. And then the next day they get somebody and replace you. It ain't worth it. When you need the break, take the break. Whatever gonna happen, gonna happen. God is in control of everything. We think we in control. That's laughable. That's laughable. Yes, Ilma, some people ignore the signs. And then when something happens, it's like, what? I in a bed, I can't talk, I can't move. No, let's just do what we have to do. You know, you don't drink water, drink the water. Walk instead of driving around every place. If you know you're just going right down the road, maybe do a little walk and get in the sun. Take your shoes off and get your foot in the dirt. Go out on the beach. Even if you don't swim, go and get a fresh air. Let's do the little things that we know how to do. Um, well, this we're getting almost to the top of the hour, and I wanted to share with you all because you keep calling and asking me. Of course, the filing date is all the way in May, but I am able to share some information as far as what we may have coming up in the future. But I also want you all to just know how much I appreciate you for extending yourselves to me, encouraging me every day, sending your prayers. I see your prayers. Thank you guys so much for that. Um, just keeping me motivated, supporting me, lifting me up. I must say, it's this time more than any. Imagine 2 years after my mother is gone, this is when I'm feeling it the most because I would love to just ask her a question and or hear her laugh or something. And so Many of you have become like my mother, and you come here, you check on me, you call me. Um, sometimes you see me, you give me a hug and push me and give me support, and I appreciate all of you for doing that. And I am telling you right now, yes, and daddy is good. You're gonna, me and daddy are always there about, right? So, you guys gonna see me up and down with daddy as usual, and he sends his love as well, and his thanks for you all always asking for him. He is good. We gonna be starting to exercise soon too, so you gonna see us in our I'm gonna get in his little short pants and we gonna exercise and thing. So y'all gonna see us out there. Please don't take no photos. Wait till we get our summer bodies back. But yes, I'm just enthused with what's going on, and I thank you all so much for all the love you're sharing. Yeah, I can't imagine. I have never heard a negative thing thus far. I know it coming in, but I appreciate the fact that some of you, whatever you're saying that may be negative, you must be keeping it to yourself. I'm happy, and I appreciate that you all are just pushing me and calling me and checking on my family. And we's one family, by the way. Blood don't make you family. We have a heart for each other. And if you see me out there, just say hello. I don't bite. And I love you all so much. This is the end of keeping in touch. I will keep you all informed. Thank you so much for joining me 10 to 12 here every Saturday on WSTX AM 970. Until next week, I love you all so much. Be kind to somebody and do something great in our community. Bye.